Yo, how's it going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, this video is going to be pretty straightforward. We are going to be grading each and every single men's division, starting from flyweight all the way to heavyweight. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the video. All right, first and foremost, let's start off with the flyweight division. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like the flyweight division needs a ton of help, man. It needs a ton of work. It needs a lot of tweaking right now, especially with the fact that I think the flyweight division has been kind of disappointing lately, given the fact that we have one of the top fighters in the division pretty much going on a hiatus, announcing a short retirement. We got the number 10th ranked fighter taking on the champion. Where have we ever seen that besides the flyweight division? I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comment section below. But right now, if I'm being completely honest, the flyweight division has been pretty disappointing. I wish we'd have a lot more going on, right? There's a lot of fighters out here that I really enjoy watching. Like, I really like watching Kai Kara-France. I like watching Manuel Cobb. In my opinion, those are pretty entertaining guys. But of course, we saw Manuel Cobb miss weight in his last fight. And, just some pretty disappointing things that happened in the flyweight division. My opinion right now, the flyweight division, it needs a ton of help. It needs a ton of work. We need to put in some storylines in there. We need to push some fights. We need to push some fighters specifically. But yeah, in my opinion, if we had to grade the flyweight division, we're gonna give it an F, if I'm just being completely honest. All right, now we move on to the bantamweight division, and I've been saying this all freaking year, ladies and gentlemen. The bantamweight division right now is gonna be the most entertaining division, period, right? There is a lot of good fighters right now that are ranked in the bantamweight division. I'm gonna just name a couple. Of course, we got Dominic Cruz, we got Umar Nurmagomedov, we got Davison Figueiredo, we got Sonia Dong, we got Marlon Vera, Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Marav Davalishvili, and of course the champion himself, Sean O'Malley. In my opinion, the bantamweight division right now is the most stacked that it's ever been in UFC history, and there's really not much to say but that it's a great freaking division, and expect to see a lot of great matchups throughout the year. The bantamweight division really 100%, and I mean this without a doubt, it's going to be very entertaining for the years to come. If we had to grade this division, I'm going to give it an A+, 100%, without a doubt. All right, and now we move on to another really good division, and that's the featherweight division. Right now, Ilia Topuria is the champion. We got Alexander Volkanovski. We got Max Holloway, Brian Ortega. We got Movsar Evloev. We got Arnold Allen. We have a lot of good fighters here. In my opinion, I feel like there's some pretty good matchups that we could have in the featherweight division that I hope to see in the next coming months, maybe in the next year per se. And one of the fights that I really would like to see is Movsar Evloev take on Ilia Topuria. I don't know why people aren't talking about that fight, but I would be super freaking stoked if the UFC were to ever announce that fight, because both of these guys are pretty much undefeated in the UFC. And I would definitely love to see that fight, given the fact that Movsar Evloev, in my opinion, is a really good MMA fighter. And I would love to see his grappling exchanges with Ilia Topuria, along with the fact that, Ilia Topuria is a really good striker and he's a really good boxer. I think that would make for a very entertaining fight. If we had to grade the featherweight division, in my opinion, I feel like it is a very proper A. We're not going to give it an A+, right? Because there is a lot of, I just feel like in the lower ranks, it's not as deep as the bantamweight division, right? And that's pretty much what we're going to be comparing all the divisions to, right? But I still feel like the featherweight division is a pretty good division, so I give it a very appropriate A. All right, and now we move on to arguably the most competitive weight class in the UFC, and that is the lightweight division. Right now, the champion is Islam Makhachev. We got Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Arman Tsarukyan, and Mateusz Gamrot in the top 5. We also got other fighters like Michael Chandler, Rafael Fiziev, Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner. Some really good fighters in the lightweight division. If I'm just being completely honest, the fighters that are in the top 3 specifically, they don't really get they haven't really been moved around all too much, and it's going to be really crazy to see whenever we do see some development from the fighters that are in the lower ranks eventually come up and take the first, second, and third round, specifically because, like I said, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier have been at the absolute top for a good while now, ever since like 2020, if I'm being completely honest. Right now, there is a fighter that I think has a pretty good opportunity to crack into the top three, and that is, of course, Ammar Sarukian, who's going to be taking on Charles Oliveira at UFC 300. So right now, as it stands, I really do believe like the lightweight division is a very entertaining division, right? Because there is a lot of story here. There is a lot of stories in the lightweight division. In my opinion, the UFC right now is doing a great job running the lightweight division, specifically with everything going on with Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, and of course, Justin Gaethje. And let's not mention the fact that we have other fighters from the featherweight division like Max Holloway that are moving up to the lightweight division to take on great fighters like Justin Gaethje. My opinion, if we had to grade the lightweight division by itself right now, I'm going to give it an A+, given the fact that there is so much content. There is so much content with all these fighters and all the guys that I just named, right? Islam Makhachev, right? Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, those are all solidified right now. In my opinion, whenever these guys retire, it's gonna be kind of like those iconic fighters in that specific weight division that made this division so iconic, right? So we have to give the lightweight division its proper rating of an A+. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. All right, and now we move on to a division that I believe is on the come up for sure, and that is the welterweight division. Right now, the champion, Leon Edwards, but we got fighters like Kamaru Usman, of course, Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Colby Covington, Jack Della Maddalena. We got other great fighters that are also ranked like Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson, Jeff Neal Magny. Joaquin Buckley is on the rise, right? Because he just had a really, really good performance at UFC Atlantic City. So we're going to see what he's able to do in the welterweight division. But in my opinion, I feel like the welterweight division is doing pretty good. It's on the rise, right? I'm really bullish on the welterweight division, given the fact that we have a lot of good matchups here. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov, who is the boogeyman right now in the welterweight division, and I'm very curious to see who is going to step up and challenge that man for a fight. If we don't see Leon Edwards take on Shavkat Rakhmonov sometime soon, I really do feel like this welterweight division could definitely be one of the biggest divisions eventually, if the UFC does a really, really good job at pushing Shavkat Rakhmonov, if he ever earns the right of calling himself the champion, right? But like I said, I do feel like the welterweight division is on the rise right now. There's also big fights that we can see in the welterweight division, like Ian Machado Gary versus Colby Covington. I know people are just like, well, we don't like either fighter, so we're hoping for a double knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, be real with yourselves. You are gonna 100% without a doubt watch the freaking everything that happens before the fight, whether it's in the press conferences or whether it's on social media. There is a lot of entertaining stuff that are going on in the welterweight divisions. In my opinion, if we had to grade this division, we're going to go ahead and give it a B+. Okay, and now we move on to the middleweight division, ladies and gentlemen, and let's just be honest. The middleweight division right now has been under a lot of scrutiny, given the fact that the media is pushing out some storylines like potentially seeing a match of Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya at UFC 305 in Perth. In my opinion, whether or not Israel Adesanya deserves to fight for the title or not, it's a topic for a different video. But if you guys would like to hear my take on it, I'm going to go ahead and plug it up here. There is some good fights that have already been announced that are huge fights for the middleweight division, and that is Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev, which in my opinion is it's recipe for potentially one of the biggest fights in middleweight history, because just listen to this. If Khamzat Chimaev beats Robert Whittaker, and if Israel Adesanya beats Dricus du Plessis, we're probably going to get Khamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya. And in my opinion, that would be one of the biggest middleweight fights, period. If not one of the biggest UFC fights ever. We also have some fighters here like Brendan Allen that are on the come up, right? He seems to be on a tear and has a pretty decent looking winning streak. He's going to be taking on Chris Curtis this weekend, so expect to see this fight and expect to see a great performance from Brendan Allen. In my opinion, I feel like he's probably going to win that fight. But if we had to grade the middleweight division as it stands currently right now and the potential of it, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A. All right, and now let's go ahead and move on to the light heavyweight division. Of course, we know that the champion is Alex Pereira. He's going to be taking on Jamal Hill at UFC 300. We got other great fighters like Jiri Prochazka. We got Magomed Ankalaev, who is rumored to fight Alex Pereira if he beats Jamal Hill at UFC 300. We're probably going to see that matchup at UFC 301. We got the return of Alexander Rakic. We got Jan Blachowicz. And we got some other decent fighters like Khalil Roundtree. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like the light heavyweight division is a little bit lacking right now. I mean, Anthony Smith is ranked number 10. What's he doing being a ranked fighter? I have no freaking idea. We got Dominic Reyes ranked as number 14th, and he hasn't had a fight in a while. In my opinion, there needs to be more going on in the light heavyweight division. I do want to see some more matchups. I do feel like there's some fighters on here that have the potential to have some pretty great storylines if given the opportunity. But as it stands right now, I really do feel like the light heavyweight division is kind of lacking, if I'm just being completely honest. If I had to grade this division from a scale of A to F, we're going to go ahead and give it a C. And lastly, of course, we got the heavyweight division. We got the champion, that's Jon Jones. We got Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, Sergey Pavlovich, Stipe Miocic, Curtis. Let me just say, Stipe Miocic is ranked number 4, and he hasn't had a fight in ages. We got Curtis Blades, Alexander Volkov. We got Taito Ivasa as ranked number 10. Ranked number 10, and he's in a bit of a losing streak, right? But the heavyweight division isn't a too active division. Some of these guys fight once a year, twice if we're lucky. But there's just not much to go off. I mean, I would have loved to see Jon Jones relinquish his title so that we could probably have Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane fight for it. And I think that would have been a great fight. But you know, I'm just a YouTube guy that makes YouTube videos on the UFC. You know, I can't make Jon Jones relinquish his title. But that's a fight that I would have definitely loved to see, right? I think it would have revived the heavyweight division. But right now, there's not much to go off of, if I'm just being completely honest. We might see Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Maybe, who knows? But so far, the most hyped up fight right now in the heavyweight division is we got to wait for Jon Jones to come back, first of all. And then he'll probably fight Stipe Miocic. Maybe. You know, but that's not even a guarantee. I won't believe that fight is going to go down until we see Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic in the ring throwing punches against each other, right? Until then, I'm not going to believe anything they say, if I'm just being completely freaking honest, right? But the heavyweight division, honestly, it's been pretty disappointing. If we're going to have to grade it from A to F, we're going to go ahead and grade this division right now a D. And that's pretty much my thoughts on each and every single division currently right now in the UFC. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Now, I put up a poll a couple days ago talking about who deserves to fight for the title, and I had Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland as the options, and we had this pretty interesting response here, and it said, if we're being realistic, neither one of them should be fighting for the belt. Chimaev has been looking great on social media as of late, and denying him a title would be so stupid. So let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys vote in the community polls. We're going to be posting more community polls each and every single day. Make sure you guys subscribe and vote on those. Without further ado, you know, I would like to thank each and every single one of you guys for watching. Peace out, and have a good one.